I'm Beth Ann.
What's up? I'm Ayla.
This is Let's Talk BL, a boys love podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. It is Sunday, Series Sunday. We are coming at you live from New York on Saturday night. It is Saturday night, in fact.
But you're hearing this on Sunday.
You're hearing this on Sunday. For us, it's Saturday night.
Yes.
As you can see by our lack of lighting,
if you're watching,
our lack of microphones. Although I hope that we're retrying the whole lavalier mic thing. I know we had life troubles with it in Thailand. Half the time, the struggle is real. We're also testing this new lav setup system for the Houston, Texas CUPSLEEVE event.
We're going to be recording an episode live in person at the CUPSLEEVE event. So if you are in Houston, in Texas,
in America,
in Mexico,
or not in America,
yes, if you want to come to a
for free,
except buy some tea.
Buy a tea, get a CUPSLEEVE. There are 4 CUPSLEEVes.
Yes.
4 CUPSLEEVE designs, which are
Ken Porsche, Nunu, GMMTV 2023, and ones that you get to pick. So we will run one more day of pick your favorite BL ship, submit it to be on a CUPSLEEVE. Yeah. Okay, y'all. This week we're going back to Taiwan.
We are, for the first time in so long.
Yes.
I'm really excited.
Me too. The last time we talked to Taiwanese show, we were also in a hotel.
That is true. Oh my gosh. So, I feel like every time we go, we have to save up all of the Taiwanese shows for when we go on vacation. Although we're not really on vacation. This is it's kind of a vacation. It's kind of a vacation trip. It's a fun,
we're talking My Truth, Your Love. Let's get into nuts and bolts because I can't wait to talk about this show. I remember following this show from the announcement of it. I was like, this title is insane. It makes no sense. I don't understand why we're doing a tooth show. There's no way this can be fun or not weird or cool, but it was.
But you love fuzz.
I did, but I think it was the title. The title had tooth in it, and I was like, what? It felt weird.
Is it akin to if a title had the word foot in it or something?
Yeah. Yes. It just felt weird. Okay, nuts and bolts. 12 episodes. It's on Viki, the same director and screenwriter of We Best Love.
I didn't know this until you told me this before we record all of these episodes, we actually basically have this conversation.
Yeah.
But then we just have the conversation again.
Yeah.
And you told me this, and I was like, I see it. As soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, I see it.
The filming style is the same.
The aesthetic.
Yeah. A lot of it's similar, which is so We Best Love is so near and dear to our hearts that it was nice to get a little bit of that back. And so, okay, we have as Bai Lang, Andy Wu, as Jin An, Yujin, the Andy and Yujin. These two have become iconic. We have RJ, played by Michael Chang, and Alex, played by Alex Chu.
And everyone was very much looking forward to this because you know that name Alex Chu for a reason.
Yes.
And I remember when it was
Chu. CHOU. Chow?
Listen, our struggle with this goes way back to season 1.
Maybe we should always have a Chinese language.
We tried. We even had Viki on, who is from Taiwan, to try and explain this, and we still have troubles. But so Alex did the song for We Best Love,
right?
And which, by the way, the soundtrack, the OST, they're outstanding.
Yeah, he's incredible.
And so I remember when this got announced, everyone was like, "Oh my god, he's fine! He's gonna be in a BL."
Because he had done music videos that were BLs. He had done BL OSTs. He did the opposite of Jeff Satter. Jeff Satter started as a BL boy and then became OST king. He became OST king and then became a BL boy.
Right.
I love that for him.
Yes.
Synopsis. It's very long.
It is so long. Okay. And they use the names so much, and I'm so sorry. I just generally apologize for everything that is about me. Okay. It feels weird not holding them out. Hold on. Jin Jun-an, a promising achiever, is already the chief dentist at his dental clinic at a young
What is
age.
a promising achiever?
He's a high achiever that has like a promise that is like he's like voted most likely to succeed.
He's a go-getter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Although cold-hearted and distant by appearance, Jin Jun-an has nevertheless earned himself the coveted title of being the Master Prince of Dentistry.
There's so much to the synopsis.
I'm just imagining, like, think about if you were looking for a new dentist, which I actually am looking for a new dentist right now. I got like a new dental insurance plan, a whoa dream big. And
grown-up thing.
I'm looking for a new dentist and like and so I've been going on like a lot of websites, a lot of like Facebook, you know, Google reviews.
Yeah.
Imagine if like I'm reading about these dentists and it's like this one is the Master Prince of Dentistry.
I would immediately
immediately book an appointment. Yeah, okay. That's all I was thinking. I could like picture it on the website. Anyways.
I love that so much.
One day, he is entrusted by Bai Qing, one of his seniors, to treat her precious little brother, Bai Long. As Bai Long seats himself in front of Jin Jun-an, he looks at the man with a cold and ruthless look. And while a mask covers most of Jin Juan-an's face, it only helps highlight his deep electric eyes.
Oh my god. Out of control.
Bai Long then hears his gentle and soothing voice telling him not to be afraid. I'm so sorry.
This is the most elaborate synopsis.
So elaborate.
They use such big words.
I'm not even halfway through this paragraph, you guys. Okay. But almost instantaneously, he finds himself stunned, his heart palpitating, and finding a desperate excuse to run away. As it turns out that Bai Lang is not the first dental patient to try to run away from Jin Junan, but definitely the most troublesome since Jin Juan-an started his career.
So that tells you nothing about the show.
That was so much.
That tells you nothing.
That was a lot.
Okay, so this show we talked about a little bit when it first was announced that it was coming out. So excited because of Alex, because of just the aesthetic of it. I think I like vaguely remember about the We Best Love connection because of the studio that like put it on, like the same people. It was connected to that. But it took me a minute to get into this show.
Me too. I even told you when we decided we were going to do this one, I was like, oh, I got to finish it.
Yeah.
And then I went and found the episode that I had stopped on. And it turns out I had stopped in the middle of the episode and I just like never finished the episode. And I was like, my bad. And then I finished it so that we could do the series Sunday. And it all made sense.
Yeah.
Or like it worked for me.
Up.
And I remember being disappointed that it wasn't hitting for me at first because when this one got announced, it got announced like with About Youth. Like remember when there was like that round of like a bunch of Taiwanese dramas got announced and it was like this one, it
Plus
was About
Minus.
Youth, Plus Minus, and then the one that me and Robbie really wanted to love and like we both tried so hard and we just couldn't, about like the ghost hunters. What was that one called? We tried so hard. Me and Robbie were like on board for that one.
Hold on. I have to find the name of that.
What was the name of it? They like go, the opening episode is they like go into a cave and it's haunted and it's like found footage style, but then it switches to like not found footage style. Right. It's on Gaga. It had all of the trappings of being right up.
DNA Says I Love You.
DNA Says I Love You. Yeah. Yes. And so I remember seeing all of these announced kind of around the same time and being just so excited for all of them because I love Taiwanese dramas. Yes. And there had been a string of like, it's just not hitting, it's just not hitting, it's just not hitting. And I was like so excited. And so then when this just didn't hit at first, I was like, oh no.
I will say what I love about Taiwanese dramas is that they're usually 12 episodes, 30-minute episodes. And so the pacing, even if it isn't there at the beginning, it picks up eventually. and they're like feasible pickups, right? Like it's like 2 episodes. It's like 1 episode split into 2, so like you can get there eventually.
Right. No, it did pick up for me. By the time and I'll admit, like, it was later on in the show when it did finally pick up for me, but it did get there, and I was like, oh, this, and I always liked their chemistry, like, all the way through. That was, I think that's what like kept me hanging on, was the chemistry, because I was like, oh, this isn't hitting for whatever reason, but like, I really, like, they were good to, like, they were nice to watch together. Yes. Even if I wasn't like super sold on the story, and like, well, like, I was like,
yeah, I love that we get the childhood trauma trope in this one, right? But like real heavy, hard childhood trauma. Yeah. Of course, connected to a tooth dentist trauma, because as a child, Bailong had like a toothache, and his parents were rushing back home, and you find out they died in a car accident. Right. And so he's avoided the dentist for forever, and this is the trauma. Yes. And I do love how they kind of handle the whole mental health aspect of it all with him, because that doesn't just go away because he's fallen in love. You definitely have Jun-an having to like learn to connect to him with that, and to really help him cope with that, which I think is why they introduce Jun-an's conflict with his parents and him going through that struggle. So they both have individual struggles that kind of affect the relationship, but they learn to kind of appreciate each other's kind of issues, and like it makes them stronger. Like once they come together and once they learn to communicate with each other, like, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what I'm dealing with, then I feel like it's definitely a moment where they embrace each other and they're like, we can get through this together.
Yeah,
it's very romantic.
I really liked kind of how realistic that, what, like, on that same vein, because a lot of times in a lot of these situations, so especially thinking back to like a short series that we both love so much, that I mean this, and it's Taiwanese, and this series is just like outstanding, and I can't believe that I don't remember it because it's so iconic, and we interviewed them and they were Innocent. And this is the trope that you see in, like, you see this trope in Innocent, where one is like, I accept you and I'm gonna like fix you because I accept you, right? It's like, I'm gonna fix the world for you because it's like that trope where one is the fixer, basically.
But they're not trying to fix the person.
No.
Like, they want to help him.
Right.
In whatever capacity that is.
Right. And so, but I guess what I'm getting at is, like, in this one, there wasn't like a fixer. At least I didn't see it that way. Where like neither of them were like fixers. It was that there was this like common ground, which I feel like is so much more real, because so like, for example, like, and in a lot of like real life cases, there are people that find each other with sort of like matching traumas, like, because that's how it's bonding, right? Like that's how you, and like, it's nice to be with somebody who has the same outlook on the world, and like you understand how they're seeing the world because you also are looking through, you know, like that color lens. Yeah. But more often than not, I think, I mean, at least in my personal experience, you have two people with two different things going on that like both have their things and they don't match. Yeah. And like, I go to therapy and Zach goes to therapy, but for like very different, like very, very different situations. Right. And so like, there can be two things that are separate going on that can exist separately. Right. And like, that's kind of what you see here, rather than like, I'm going to take this one like tiny thing that might be the same. And there's not a fixer. I did like that, like, because people aren't supposed to fix each other. Right. I don't think personally. Well, and also I feel like just because Bailong is going through something doesn't mean he can't be there for Jun-an when he finds out that like he's also going through something. Right. Because I feel like that's too what happens is there's this fight for like who's going through something more. Yeah. My trauma is worse than your trauma. Yeah. Like both of these boys are going through something, but they're not
going through something, if that makes sense. Like they're not
Right.
taking it out on anyone. Like Bailong is very much like, I don't want to involve you in my trauma. Like you have to understand that like this has been something that I've dealt with my whole life, and like you shouldn't have to deal with this. Which I feel like his sister, I was on the fence about Bailong's sister, because when she finally finds out about them, she's like, what is wrong? Like, don't mess up my brother any more than he's already messed up, basically. Like she's like, you're never going to be able to understand what a like mess he is, and like how in the world could you possibly like really take care of him. And he's like, no, I just like want to be by his side. I'm not trying to fix him, and I'm not trying to like do anything different. And he like, there's a nice little conversation that they have, because like they were friends before the like brothers get together, the brother and the friend get together. And so they have a history. So it's kind of interesting to see their dynamic where she's like being protective of her little brother, but also understanding that like he's a hot mess, and like whoever ends up with him is going to have to deal with that hot mess, and it needs to be a whole person. That's why I really liked that June Ann's trauma was something very different from Bailong's, in so much that like it was more circumstantial than like mental health related, whereas Bailong was very much mental health and like a childhood trauma that he kind of like then took into life. Yeah, I thought that their dynamic was very
I think I didn't really have any problems with the sister reacting that way, like, because it was, I thought more of like the like a knee-jerk reaction of like, well, I know you as a person,
right,
and I know my brother in a way that you'll never know my brother, right?
Yeah.
And so like I didn't really take it as like a negative reaction. I just kind of saw it as like like there was some protectiveness happening with her brother, but also there was, in that same like situation, there was protectiveness happening of her friend. In this, like I used to joke all the time that like I would never introduce one of my friends to my little brother. Like when he was becoming an adult, I wouldn't want one of my friends dating him. I would have been like, you don't deserve it. I love my little brother. We're very, very close. Like we have a very close relationship. I pretty much let him get away with any, like he could do anything. But there was a time where I was like, I would like, and I would say this, I'd be like, I love him, but I would never introduce one of my friends to my little brother. And like now he is like an actual grown person with like an actual fiance. And like, even now sometimes I'm like, he doesn't deserve, like even now I'm like, I don't know how you like
put up with this.
So I
That's
like
funny.
I did see some of it is not just protectiveness over her brother, but also over her friend, where she was like
I love how they gave character depth to both of these characters. You get more of just like the college thing with June Ann, because like of the sister connection, and just especially the like the guy that comes back. I like that dynamic of like this guy comes back who I guess he realized after his wife divorced him that like he was kind of in love with June Ann. Or like, do you think he was trying to like go back to a place that was familiar, that he knew somebody liked him, and like was trying to almost like you what is it, like you don't know what you're missing until it's gone kind of thing?
I don't know.
Or do you think there was genuine interest from him?
I wonder if it was like, I don't know, like I don't know that I would say, I wonder if it's like somewhere in the middle of that, where you, now that he's at a point in his life where like his wife has divorced him, and he like maybe is like, okay, I can go explore this thing that I'm interested in. And so the way to explore this thing is to go back to somewhere that's familiar.
Right.
So like, I think maybe, because like I definitely didn't see him as like a villain character.
No.
Like where like comparatively, like if you like, there are some situations like in like other shows where this kind of same situation happens,
right,
and it's like very clearly like a villain situation. This to me didn't really seem like a villain, although it never does in the Taiwanese dramas, like when, except for In About You, so that was a villain situation.
Yeah.
But like in general, when there's like a side, like a second, I guess a second mate, second lead situation, it's very much villain. I don't know. This just didn't feel like villain to me. I think because it didn't feel like it was a threat.
I also, when we see the moment that Jun'an tells this guy that he has feelings for him at like their little college getaway, he's like, I remember it just being very like, oh, well, I am starting this relationship with this girl. Like, you and I, like, we can't explore this because like I'm already with her.
Right. And
so it was not, I'm not interested in you. It's that like I already have someone.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. So like in terms of the relationships, what I did really like about My Tooth, Your Love, My Love, Your Love.
My Tooth, Your Love.
My Tooth, Your Love.
My Tooth, Your Love.
Yes.
Because it was Bailong's tooth and Jun'an's love.
There. Okay. Understandable. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. The puzzle pieces are coming together. So what I did like
Which
about
you can go buy that tooth on their website.
Shut up. No, you can't.
I think so.
Oh my God.
You can buy so much merch. You can buy the toothbrush pillow.
Cute.
You can buy a sweater with a tooth on it.
I actually kind of do want the toothbrush pillow.
I mean, I kind of loved this merch.
I kind of want it.
Maybe we should buy this merch.
Anyways, what I did think about this one is that even though like it was very dramatic in a lot of places, like almost overly dramatic.
Yeah.
The relationships it was like a mellow build.
It was.
It wasn't like a 0 to 100 bank boat kind of situation. It was like a mellow build all the way through. So it felt like all of the relationships throughout the show, like platonic, romantic, like the other guy coming back, like all of it just felt very like secure, I guess.
Yeah. Which I think is funny. We haven't really talked much about like the ship work that the Taiwanese do. The Taiwanese, maybe we should like.
That's what got me into BL was the ship work.
The Taiwanese, yeah.
Remember?
I feel like we should talk ships again, but we should also talk like ship work from all the different places because man, the Taiwanese, and I think these characters, there's been a lot of conversation because the show's over and they're still doing ship work. Like they've become really good friends, Andy and the other lead actor. And they kissed more off screen than they kissed in the show. And they initiated all the physical affection because apparently the only actual scripted kiss was the one in the dentist office and everything else they kind of improvised.
I love that for them.
Which is very like a la Love in the Air. Like these actors understand these characters, but they also understand the audience. And they understand that like when two people get together and fall in love, like your love for a lot of times will manifest intimately and physically, and therefore like if these actors are feeling that these characters want to show a love and affection to another person, like they do. And so it was really sweet to watch the ship work between these two actors because you definitely could feel like they got comfortable with each other. And there's this conversation where Andy talks about how he'd just gotten out of the 7-year relationship with this girl.
Oh, I know you talk about this all the time.
It's the funniest.
It's
like the funniest dynamic because like he got out of this relationship with this girl and then he just like found this boy that he just really loves kissing. Like it's almost like, you know how usually like you dive into your work, like this man dove into his work. He became a workaholic in like the funniest way possible.
You tell me about this like once a week. Like once a week you will bring up to me just like randomly, you'll be like, well, you know, I'm using a 7-year, like you'll just like you bring it up like probably once a week. This is the only fact that because I've watched their ship work and I do think it's cute and funny, but like I haven't really like watched it, you know?
Yeah.
And so like it's just funny that like this is the one thing that I know about them for sure.
Yeah.
Is the one thing that I 1,000,000% know about them is this 7-year relationship and all of this because you literally tell me about it once a week. Like you love this part of their story.
And you know, it's funny. So we got a DM from one of our listeners who actually had sent me her stuff because she has subbed a bunch of the Taiwanese ship work on TikTok. So go follow Abby Loves Love on TikTok. She's subbed like they did podcast things and they did appearances. And so like I just love bless all these fan translators who sub all these, because the Taiwanese will do a lot like the Thai do, and they'll do all these events and like appearances and stuff. And so yes, I do love the fact that like he dove headstrong into work, but like his work was like kissing a boy.
Do you think do you think that you love this like this development, this life journey for him because like you want this life journey?
Except like I'm not a BL boy. Like,
but like do you want to be? Is that maybe what's happening?
Maybe. I will,
because I don't think I've ever heard you talk this much about like a ship, like with like one particular moment of ship work.
Yeah.
Like ever. Because you watch a lot of ship work. You watch like all the ship work from everybody.
Yes.
Like you very much like the ship work. And so like you tell me about a lot of it. This is the only time that I can remember that you like have told me the same one little like you clearly sit around like thinking about it.
I think I'm just like fascinated by that idea. Because like and the Taiwanese are funny too, because somebody tweeted not too long ago where it's like the funny thing about the Taiwanese. So the Thai, it's like we pretend we're in a relationship. You can't even look at a girl like
or another boy.
Yeah, or another
sometimes.
Boy. Like they're very separate. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But with the Taiwanese, it's like we're gonna kiss each other IRL, but then next thing you know, we're married with children.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas
and
like
they go far too like comparatively, they're like tonguing on screen. Yes. Like I remember
like off screen.
Yeah, like so we have told this story like a lot. It's been a while, but like I got into BL. Trapped was my first BL ever. Yeah. You showed it to me.
Right.
And that night that like we finished Trapped, I stayed up like by myself until like 2 a.m. just watching Chris ship work.
Yes.
Like I just
the Taiwanese have some incredible appearances.
And I remember being like, and you had already showed me Mugolf ship work. This is what's funny about it.
Yes.
Is you had me like watching all these YouTube videos of Mugolf. I think because you were like gearing me up to show me Tarn type. You were like, you like felt like you had to build up to it.
Because you have to be invested in Mugolf to care or to like not be traumatized by Tarn type.
And so I remember like watching the Mugolf ship work and being like, oh, this is cute. Like this is engaging. Like they very clearly have chemistry. Like
They're
is
comfortable.
like this is fun and cute and engaging. And then I watched the Trap ship work and I was like, oh my God. Like, and I just remember being just like fascinated by Chris and Jake's comfort level with each other. Like that's what fascinated me more than anything else, was just that it didn't seem like a forced thing, because like no matter what, I feel like in Western ship work, because Western artists do ship work, we just don't really think of it that way,
right?
And so like even in Western ship work, right, so think like even the Heartstopper boys, right, so not just like not just American, well, not just American, but also not just like a male female relationship, but like right, and it sometimes seems like they're playing like we're playing our characters.
Yes.
And even though, yes, of course, they are very good friends and like their relationship is real, but like they're still playing. And I understand that's what's happening in Taiwan and Thailand and stuff too. But it's like the level of comfort is so much different, and that fascinated me. That it was like they so very clearly are so comfortable with each other, and that's what happens with like most of the Taiwanese ships, but especially these My Tooth Your Love boys. My Tooth Your Love.
You know what I just realized, and what I think it might be, is that in Thailand, the focus is the ship work. Like your show, great, fine, but you have ship work that starts before the show and goes on long after the show. You could have one show and do ship work for 10 years, right? Like we have like Chris Singjo, who did Sodas and like Never Again.
And our Sky, thank you.
Yes. And like they just did a Japan fan meeting, right? So like, and they'll never do another show again together for that we know of. But then you have the Taiwanese, who the show is the focus, and they get close on the show and they do all this stuff. And then they know that like the promotion of the show depends a little bit on the ship work. So they're going to like with their whole chest do some ship work, but they know that it's finite. They know that people aren't necessarily like it. I feel like they think that, or from what I think, they are like, this as isn't actually going to affect my real life. Right?
I
like,
mean, unless you're Chris and
job.
Jake.
Yeah, like, right. Like, it's a job. We will occasionally get back together and like hang out and do whatever. But then I'm going to go on and do other stuff. Like, because Wayne and his boy are still doing stuff together. And Chris and Jake are still hanging out. Like, a lot of casts have come back together, but they've gone on to do other work. And as far as I can tell, I mean, tell us if you're Taiwanese and have kind of followed this world. Because, like, Sam and you have done very separate stuff.
Right. But I think, so from what I've picked up, honestly, the Taiwanese stuff is harder to follow for me than like Thai Twitter. Like, I can kind of get what's happening on Thai Twitter for the most part, but like following, and it's because I don't have Weibo, I think.
Yeah.
But like following what's going on with the Taiwanese stuff is like more difficult for me. From what I understand, it kind of has to do with the trajectory of Sam's career, is what I'm like getting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's real or not, but like, I don't know if I'm misunderstanding that.
Right. But yeah, a lot of these ships like will have come back together in the last year. Like you have Hank and Aaron have come back together. They did like that fan meeting with 4 of the couples.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like they very much like maybe they don't feel like they're stuck in a ship. Like they can do other things.
And so that makes them closer or makes their closeness like, feel more natural.
There's no pressure to be something they're not. And therefore, right? Because like if you have like in real life, if someone's like pushing you into a relationship with someone, or like, you know, being like, oh, do you like them? Like,
or you know, it depends. Something different, like your paycheck depends.
Right. Like there's like a weird dynamic of like this this expectation that like you have to get along and like you have to be something more in real life, but like not really.
Like even if you actually are close.
Yeah.
You like add more to it.
Because that's what we've heard about for the Thai is like Jimmy Tommy. Like that's the rumor with Jimmy Tommy, is that like the pressure of the fans of the ship work separated the two of them like in real life.
Right.
And we've heard that time and time again, that like two people couldn't be friends because people expected for them to be a ship. And therefore like it kind of felt weird if like they looked at each other a funny way or they were like, hey, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, all that to say, the ship work from the show is fascinating.
It is pretty excellent.
But I haven't actually seen them do appearances on TV shows, so I need to go watch those. I've only seen like their fan meetings.
I've only seen clips, and I guess they are from TV shows, or maybe they're from lives. I've seen just like little clips here and there.
They did a bunch of lives with the director, where like anytime these boys went live with the director, they just like kissed for some reason. And then like
they're friends with him, you know.
Maybe I want to kiss. Oh, Maxine.
Shout out Maxine and Innocent, my hero.
Maxine needs to do another show already. Like it's healing me. Okay, so the other couples that we had in the show, we had 2 other couples. We had one couple that kind of like no, they're not in the guide. We had one other couple that kind of just like was a blip, which was like this hockey player / food delivery guy and the dentist, the like assistant dentist, that we got like 2 seconds, and then we got like this like skating moment with them. And I remember talking to one of our listeners, and they were like, well, we got something from them, like that's all I wanted, but like we didn't get really anything else. Like we had like probably in the whole show like maybe 2 minutes,
right?
And so, like, I just, like, was like, okay, cool. They seemed like a weird throwaway addition to the show.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
No, I do. I guess I didn't realize they were supposed to be, like, actually a part of the show. No. But, like, I didn't realize I was supposed to be paying attention.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it was just, like, I didn't realize I should have been paying attention to the
because they showed up in the dance number at the end.
Right, but like which was wild. Like ensembles I don't know. I just didn't even accept them, I guess, in my mind or heart as like a thing.
They didn't make sense at all. And then kind of the same thing with Alex and RJ. Like you got a lot from them at the beginning when RJ gets mad at his parents and like and runs away from home, and then he goes to work at the bar, and his cute little notebook, apparently that was like he did that for real, and they saw it and they were like, we're going to incorporate it into the show.
That's cute.
And so you get a small blip of like their backstory, but then like there's like this kind of break and separation that they have because RJ has to go back home to like his dad got sick or something. But like, yeah, they seemed, the two side couples seemed very underdeveloped, and I kind of wish we'd gotten more from RJ and Alex.
I think that everything Alex did was perfect, and the storyline was perfect, and I have no complaints.
It's true.
My official
that,
position.
The age dynamic was a little weird.
We don't talk about it. I liked Alex so
I
much.
did tell you when they introduced the young character that he was very adamant that he was 19. Yeah. Like he kept being like, I'm 19. I'm an adult. Like we've gotten that new trope in BLs now where the younger one is going after the older one.
Right.
Where the dynamic is like, this is inappropriate for the most part, but like you're a little you're being gaslit to like approve it because like the younger one's pursuing it.
Look, overall, do I disapprove? Yes. In my heart, can I disapprove of Alex? No. But overall, do I disapprove? Yes, because I also just on a moral level in general in life, I think that even if based on that kind of age difference, the younger one is the pursuer, it is the responsibility of the older one with more life experience and more and all of this to be the one that's like
boundary.
Yes.
He does seem to draw some pretty good boundaries.
He does.
He does good.
Yeah.
We just don't see the rest of the story. Maybe he gives it a year or two and like mentors him at the bar, and then when he hits like 21, say.
Sure. We have a time jump within the show, and no one else jumps time, just them. They're in a time bubble. They're in a time loop.
What do you think season 2 of My Tooth Your Love is? But with Alex and RJ as the main couple. My Drink Your Bar?
Hold on. Actually, you are kind of onto something because we have to remember this comes from We Best Love, and what happened in We Best Love season 2 with our cousin / bar owner / doctor and our student. This is We Best Love 1 and We Best Love 2. Like it is. Right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. They had good boundaries in that show too.
And then finally at the very end of season 2, he's like, yes, you can clean my bar. Right? Like
that was cute.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a grown-up now. Yeah, true.
So like that is
season 2 of My Tooth Your Love. Tell us what you think it should be called. I think it should be called My Drink.
He drinks you drunk.
Oh my god.
Copter makes an appearance. Copter, it's a Taiwanese crossover. Like the Thai Korean crossovers.
We're getting so many Thai Korean. We started with Taiwanese. Like they did a lot of promotions in Taiwan. Like there's some, go find the like Tay New Earth with the Trapped cast, I believe. Yeah. Which when I found that footage, my mind was blown. And then the Make Our Days side couple did something with Tainu, I believe.
Yes.
In a hotel
or
room.
Was it Afghan?
I want to say it was Tainu.
Because Tainu makes more sense. Yeah.
Right? So yeah, a Taiwanese.
Listen, He Drinks You Drunk actually would be a really good title. And it would make sense.
Would.
And that could be the OST. He drinks, you drunk.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I would like a season 2 from this show just to watch these actors again.
Yeah.
And I like the characters decent enough to watch more of their story. But with Alex and RJ with a 5-year time jump.
So like We Best Love season 2.
Yeah. Oh, I need to go rewatch We Best Love. I miss that show. Okay. Go sign up for our CUPSLEEVE event.
Yes. The Eventbrite link will be in the description of this episode, but also it's bit.ly/BeMineHTX.
Woo!
So February 18th and 19th at the Bunny T Houston.
More details to come.
Thank you to the Bunny T Houston, by the way, for being super amazing. And when we talked to them and explained to them what BL was, which was a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, that was fun.
Because we had to tell them what the event was, right? That we wanted.
And even though we're in America, you still never know.
You never know. You, especially being in Texas.
Yeah.
You never know. And yeah, there's this conversation of, well,
how do we explain we want it to be this BL thing?
It's BL and what is BL and all of this stuff.
Yes,
and they were
so on board.
Wonderful and so on board. Immediately signed on. Like immediately. And not just signed on, but excited.
Yeah.
And it was just like the perfect, it's like a match made in heaven.
It was.
And so I'm very excited to host, like just to be there too.
Yeah, I'm excited for us to do this.
They made the whole process very painless, which makes me very excited.
Yes. So go sign up, stick around.
More details to come.
More details to come. This has been Let's Talk BL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL.